Another one of the common comments I get on my Life in China videos is from ignorant people who tell me, not ask me, about how all Chinese people hate America and want to destroy the American way of life. But is there actually any truth to that? Well, let's talk about it. 大家好，我是 Suran 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Suran in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having a great day as usual over here in China. I'm sitting outside today enjoying the glorious yet hot weather, and I thought I'd make a quick video for my fantastic viewers and subscribers today. And hey, if you want to be one of those fantastic subscribers, it's really easy to do. Just remember to hit that button down below and throw me a thumbs up if you like my content. And hey, if you want to buy a guy a cup of coffee or join the channel as a member and get early access to my videos, all of that is available as well. But now let's get to this rather ignorant and foolish question or demand that I get from some of my commenters. Now, over the past 20 years, from thousands of students, hundreds of coworkers and friends, dozens of family members, and simply too many general members of the public to count, I have only ever heard what a great country the United States is. When I suggest that Chinese people don't like Americans, they all look at me like I am crazy. Not one ever, and I mean ever, has said to me, "I hate America. Americans go home. America sucks." Not one ever. Instead, I hear about how beautiful America is, how prosperous and free America is, how wonderful life in America must be. The Chinese name for America is Meiguo, literally meaning the beautiful country. People here consider the American way of life to be like a fairy tale. When I tell them about the realities of poverty, homelessness, drug abuse, unemployment, gun violence, and other social problems that plague the United States, they are shocked and surprised, often choosing to disbelieve it because it's not what Hollywood portrayed it to be. Now, when Chinese people talk about America, they make it all out to be an idyllic Hollywood movie. They honestly believe that everyone is rich. Everyone owns a big house with a picket fence, a brand new car, and has a high-paying job. They work minimal hours each week and take long weekends and vacations all the time. They do recognize that Americans as a culture are fatter than Chinese people, but in traditional Chinese culture, being overweight was considered a sign of wealth, prosperity, and strength. I myself have heard on numerous occasions how the older generations wished that their grandsons or sons were as strong and handsome as I am. They could just be being polite, but I don't really think it is. But why do they have that idyllic vision of American life? Well, as much as the Chinese people love American movies, music, and culture, up until very recently, the more violent and dramatic aspects of America, or any culture, were not easily accessible to the Chinese public. Sure, they could watch Titanic, The Sound of Music, and other family-friendly movies in China, but crime and violence-related movies were simply not available. And even those titles which did make it in, such as comic book movies or police dramas, were often heavily censored to remove outright violent content. This was also the case for locally made content as well, by the way, not just imported. For the majority of my 20 years in China, the most violent Chinese content was limited to kung fu movies, with no blood or overly gory or violent scenes. These days, however, things have definitely changed. Not only are films and TV shows featuring more graphically violent content becoming more widely available on Chinese television and movie theaters, but other banned content like the WWE or UFC combat sports have become incredibly popular as well. Chinese fighters have even become top competitors and champions in the UFC and other fighting promotions. So, not only has China begun accepting more American content, they are actively embracing and taking part in it. Now, another part of American culture which took a strong hold in China was American food and drinks. Gone are the days when Chinese citizens ate a diet consisting primarily of rice and vegetables, and only drank tea and hot water. Long gone. China has become a country obsessed with coffee culture and American style fast food. Now, 20 years ago, I would be lucky to find a cup of Nescafe 3-in-1 instant coffee anywhere in China, let alone a fresh brewed cup of joe. Now, there are literally coffee shops everywhere and almost on every single street in bigger cities. And not only famous international chains like Starbucks and Costa Coffee, but even iconic Canadian coffee giant Tim Hortons is available and offer online sales, delivery services, and the in-house drinking experience. By the end of 2024, Starbucks had 7,596 stores across China, with expansion plans of 9,000 in 2025. On top of this, China has started launching its own highly competitive coffee options, from small specialized brew shops to massive cross-country chains like Coty, Manner, and Luckin. Coffee culture has taken the country by storm, and it's not uncommon to see dozens of competing coffee shops in busy urban centers, within minutes of each other, actually within sight of each other. From tea-centric to coffee-consuming culture almost overnight. This is totally due to Western, and in particular, American influence. And it's not just coffee. Finding a Chinese branded soda or soft drink is nearly impossible. I honestly can't think of a single one off the top of my head. But Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, 7-Up, Fanta, they're everywhere. Literally in every single solitary shop in China. I challenge you to find me one convenience or grocery store in China that is not fully stocked with those famous American brands. Go ahead. I'll wait. It ain't gonna happen. And the same can be said as well for alcohol brands like Budweiser, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Jack Daniels, Southern Comfort, etc., etc. And food is another massive change, as China scrambles to emulate the American way of life. The first Chinese city I lived in 20 years ago had a population of 1 million and one, yes, one KFC. And it was always lined up out the door. If you wanted a hamburger, you would have to hop on a 6-hour train ride to Nanning to the only McDonald's around. Although they did massive business, at that time, American fast food had not even scratched the surface of Chinese life. Oh, how that has changed. Now China has over 7,100 McDonald's locations, with plans to expand to 10,000 by 2028, and over 12,200 KFC locations as of June this year, 2025. Add to this other chains like Subway, Pizza Hut, Dunkin' Donuts, etc., and China has become a veritable paradise for Western fast food. And it shows, unfortunately, as China is in the midst of an obesity epidemic. The obesity numbers are rising dramatically across the country as the dietary focus changes from rice and veggies to fast food, burgers, and pizzas. And like coffee, China is now awash with its own fried chicken, burger, and pizza chains, vastly outnumbering Western brands with their own version of these Western specialties. So, if Chinese people truly hate America and the American way of life, why would they be consuming so much iconic American food and drinks and trying so hard to emulate American culture? Another very unfortunate yet common misconception and outright lie by the China hating content creators is that Chinese people are taught to hate America from childhood on, and that everyone here wants to kill Americans and destroy the American way of life. Well, this is simply not true in the slightest. Now, in my own culture, the Canadian and American version of Western culture, we are taught to fear the communist menace, the red threat, the dirty commies from childhood on and throughout our entire lives. My grandfather talked at length on the topic, and even my own immediate family was genuinely concerned for my safety when I told them I was going to be a teacher in China, and the fact that I chose to stay here. They were so concerned that the threat they had been told about all their lives was real, that even though after years and, in fact, decades of my own personal experience, I was living proof it was not, they still had a hard time to believe it. I have lived in rural areas, mid-sized towns, and big cities all over China, and never once felt threatened or unsafe. Not once. In fact, it's always been quite the contrary. Not only were Chinese people everywhere genuinely thankful for my presence and the fact that I was here to help their children and adult students improve their language skills and lives, but they seemed surprised that I would ever leave the beautiful country at all to come to their Chinese hometown. They firmly believed then, as they do to this day, that anywhere in Canada or America must be better than their own town, city, or China in general. But I have never in my life experienced such kindness and gratitude as I have in China. As a teacher at all levels of education, from kindergarten through to university, I can say with 100% certainty that hatred and killing of Americans is not, nor has ever been, a part of the Chinese curriculum. China did not make the advancements in engineering, science, and technology that they have by dwelling on and actively teaching hatred and violence. That is a total crock of shit, concocted by anti-China agencies and creators to foment fear and keep hatred focused on the far-off enemy, as opposed to the oligarchs and leaders in their own countries who treat their own workforce like slaves. Projecting hatred on another culture is a very effective and efficient Cold War era tactic that still persists today. So, do Chinese citizens actually hate America? Are they taught as children to want to destroy the American way of life and kill Americans? No, obviously not. And what a ridiculous concept. Chinese people in general revere and admire America and its lifestyle, and they go out of their way to try to imitate it. I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of local Chinese people about this exact topic over the years, as recently as yesterday, and it is ludicrous to them. Whereas in America, the government actively teaches hate of China, even providing a $1.6 billion fund directed towards anti-China content creators and fake media outlets, and has attempted training Chinese citizens and dissidents for decades in the hopes of enacting a color revolution in China, as it does in other countries all around the world. However, this is simply not the case in China. People here do not hate America. They do not hate the American culture, and they do not want to destroy the American way of life. But hey, Don't take my word for it. Do what I did. Go check it out for yourself and formulate your own opinions. But for now, thank you so much, as always, for joining me, and we will see you in the next video. Zaijian.